my name is Alex. I'm the patchwork nerd, and apologies if my energy seems a little low and docile today. I didn't sleep very well last night, but I am still really excited to talk about today's subject, and that is self-care and creative breaks for writers and creators. Self-care is something that I neglected for a long time because I always thought of every single hobby that I do as almost work. And it's good to have dedication to the hobbies and the activities that you do. In my case, I was definitely burning myself out, and that was especially emphasized while I was getting ready for author mentor match, which I was accepted into, but it was a really stressful time preparing for it. I burnt myself out a little bit, so I want to give you guys some steps for how you can take care of yourself as a creator. The first thing you need to do is know yourself. You need to recognize the signs of burnout. I feel like everyone I talk to, it's a little bit different. For me, I get overtired and I get kind of just grumpy, and little things make me just want to sob. I know if I'm having those kind of emotions pop up, it means that I'm probably feeling burnt out in some way, shape, or form, and I need to identify where the burnout is happening. The first thing you need to do is understand when burnout is happening for you and the signs of burnout for yourself. The second tip I have is to make sure you have hobbies that are just for you. For me, I take writing extremely seriously. I almost see it as like a second job because I want it to be my career someday. However, there are certain hobbies that I have in my mind made myself understand these are things that I do for happiness. I'm not doing it for a career. I'm just doing it because it makes me happy. A few examples is baking and cooking. I love to do both of those. Honestly, cooking is how me and my husband bond together, and that's what we do as like a date night kind of activity, is that we cook. And baking is my way of just having creative energy get out and making something that is also extremely delicious. I don't see it as that I'm going to be a chef or I'm going to be a baker someday. Those hobbies are just for me. And the same thing goes for playing video games. Like, I've been playing Stardew Valley. I'm not ever going to be a professional gamer, trust me. Bad at playing video games. I know if I need some self-care, I can go play a video game and not feel any pressure. All I have to do is just veg out and play the game. Another tip I have for self-care is to not be afraid to practice, but don't put pressure on it. And what I mean is, I like to, when I'm feeling burnout, step away from the big projects I'm working on and instead do writing activities, do writing exercises, work on a short story, but with no strings attached to it. Like, it's not for a contest or anything specific. Practice helps me feel like I'm still being productive even though I'm taking a break from certain things like writing. It helps me also feel more reassured about my skills, or I'll pick out something that I've noticed is a weakness that kind of was eating away at me, and I'll start practicing noticing when I'm running into those bad habits and what I need to do to stop those bad habits. Other things I do outside of writing practice is reading books. It's a great way for me to observe my craft, but in a much more passive way. Same with daydreaming. I just let my mind go wherever it feels like going, and there's no pressure that I have to think up how I'm going to fix a plot hole in my novel. Instead, I might think about my story, but I might think about scenes that aren't actually happening in the story, just to let myself have fun and have kind of a creative exercise in my head. Same with doodling or working in my bullet journal. Those are ways for me to let off that creative steam without feeling pressure. So remember, practice, but no pressure. And the last tip I have for self-care is to let your mind wander. Let yourself just let go and explore the different crevices of your mind and your imagination. When I was a kid, I constantly would just daydream different adventures in my head, and there were no strings attached. It didn't have to follow a plot. It didn't have to have a beginning, middle, and end. It was just me having fun with stories in my head. And sometimes I have to remind myself it's okay to do that as an adult, especially when you're trying to take a creative break, because it's a way to flex that creative muscle but not put pressure on it. I would definitely recommend using music as a good catalyst for this, or creating aesthetics. I love going on Pinterest and putting together boards that fit the story I'm working on, or the project, or different projects that I want to work on in the future. It's just a way to spark that creative energy in me without putting the pressure on myself. And the same goes for music. It helps you feel immersed in the different creative things that you're doing in your head and in your writing. So I hope these tips not only help you with self-care, but they also give you creative sparks so that when you are done with relaxing and giving yourself a break, you will have the creative energy you need to start again and to go forward with the projects you're working on. And I'm curious what you guys like to do for self-care. Do you do things similar to what I suggested, or is there different things that you do that could help other people? I would love if you guys could leave that in the comments down below, because I'm always looking for new ways to nurture my self-care. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today, and if you are new to my channel, please hit that happy little subscribe button down below and possibly consider giving this video a like. I post new videos on Mondays. Also join me every Sunday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time over on Twitter for #WritersPatch. You can follow me at PatchworkNerd to join in that fun. And as always, remember, keep writing, keep laughing, and most importantly, please keep encouraging each other. I will see you next time. Toodles!